Still with the military, yesterday the United Nations celebrated all peacekeepers who lost their lives on duty, and it was dubbed International Peacekeepers Day. The UN General Assembly designated 29th May as the day to also pay tribute to all the men and women who have served and continue to serve in UN peacekeeping operations for their high level of professionalism, dedication and courage. Since the first UN peacekeeping mission was established in 1948, more than 3,220 military, police and civilian personnel have lost their lives in the service of peace as a result of acts of violence, accidents and disease. UN peacekeeping operations also use the day to strengthen bonds with the local population that they have been deployed to serve. This year's theme is Invested in Peace Around the World. And I have in the studio with me the Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Armed Forces, Lieutenant Colonel Ernestina Asan. Thank you so much for joining us, Lieutenant. Unfortunately, we've been hit by this really unfortunate incident.
Yes,
it wasn't supposed to be like this. Yes. You were supposed to come in here for us to talk about servicemen who had lost their lives, though, but in the line of duty while keeping peace in other parts of the world. It's rather sad that in this particular situation, there was really no peacekeeping going on there. This gentleman had just gone for a regular jogging activity.
Yeah, it's quite a very sad and an unfortunate incident. Before I start, let me express my deepest condolence to the family for such a loss. We've really lost one of the finest young officer. It is really sad. My thoughts are really with the family.
And do you have a personal relationship? Do you know him?
Yes, unfortunately I met him once. We had a mess event and he happened to be around and I spoke with him. So that was my first and last seeing that officer.
And that was how many days ago?
Oh, that's about 2 weeks. We had an induction service for our CDS and then the Chief of Army Staff. It's quite sad. In fact, we are all in total shock as I speak now.
It is really shocking and rather unfortunate. This is one of the moments where you wish it was all a dream, and you could wake up from it.
Yes, B.
It's really sad.
I've not had a good sleep since yesterday. You know, the news hit us yesterday night. And it was so bad. So bad.
Terrible. Our condolences to his wife especially and his young boys. But what would in this particular case, do we see it as death in the line of duty? Would the military consider it as
Yes,
that?
because he was on duty. Yes, and it happened that he was just going for jogging. And this unfortunate incident happened. So it's death in the line of duty. That is how the military sees it.
All right, Lieutenant Colonel, let's talk about peacekeeping and how Ghana has contributed to peacekeeping over the years. To be a soldier, I must admit, it's quite a tough job. And we've seen and heard, even the story adds to that fact. You go to places where ordinarily people wouldn't dare to go. How has Ghana contributed?
I'm happy you are saying this. Yes, you know, Ghana is really committed to such a cause, to sustain global peace, security and stability. And for that matter, we would go wherever there is conflict. As I speak now, Ghanaian peacekeepers are deployed in 11 missions all over the world, and we've deployed over 2,000 peacekeepers to keep peace in those conflicts countries.
And these countries, can you give us a fair idea? Do they all happen to be within our sub-region?
Not within our sub-region. I think we have the Middle East, we have Burundi, we have Asia, we have so many. It cuts across the world.
Interesting. So what has been the major challenge for peacekeepers? I know some soldiers who will say, I'll go for peacekeeping because I'll get some good money in there.
Oh yes, the personal gains are there, the economic gains too are there, but the major challenge, my dear, is funding. Yes, you will agree with me that it hasn't been all easy and rosy. We do have challenges and logistic constraints. At times, the equipment that we deploy do not meet the standard that will require us to receive reimbursement. And then insecurity, of late, UN personnel have become targets for terrorism acts. Yeah, that one too is there, and a host of others. But I think funding, lack of logistics, and then the insecurity are some of the major challenges that we face as peacekeepers.
Talking about funding, I think ties in well with the theme that's investing in peace and security around the world. Do you think that people underestimate what it takes to secure peace and maintain it?
I want to say so, yeah. Because you'd realize that with investing, you hope to see some dividends. But with peacekeeping, the investments that you see is all about capacity building. Yes. So it's like you invest and you don't really see what comes out of it.
In terms of physical cash.
Physical cash. But this is a worthy cause that we've decided to follow. So I think we should put in all our best and do it. Now, of late, I think we are getting some physical cash in terms of when you deploy the good equipment. And I think the government must really look at that very well and then invest in that. I think it's going to be one of the main source of revenues for our country, because some other countries are doing very well on that, and I think they are really making it.
Now, you've spoken about the challenges. Let's talk about the benefits. What do we derive as a country, because sometimes it's really difficult for people to grasp the fact that Ghana is a peaceful country.
Yes.
So why should we be investing in securing peace for other people who cannot keep peace in their countries?
What Ghanaians should realize that keeping peace elsewhere, you maintain peace, brings peace to your own home. Because when we go keep peace, what we do is we control and suppress such conflicts so that they don't spill over into our countries. So it's high time we look at that. And then it is a time that we exert influence in world affairs and then enhance our image and prestige in the international system. Some of the benefits too are, you work in a multinational environment. And then when you are able to work with these people cordially for a common goal, you gain that experience, and that's rich experience that peacekeepers talk about. Ghanaians, when it comes to peacekeeping, we are always at the top. It's because of these things we are able to work in such multi-national environments. And then we are able to achieve results.
I know a few military persons who were deployed as peacekeepers and have ended up working with the UN and are earning a lot of money. Would you consider that a gain, probably a personal one?
That's why I said we have personal gains and economic gains. Yeah, so you are talking of one of the personal gains there. Yeah, and then I think we've produced men of caliber to work with the United Nations to achieve the same goal. Yeah, so it's all the same.
And so how do you think working together with the army, every ordinary person, civilians together with the army, can help us realize this goal of investing in peace and security around the world?
I think what we should all realize is that we are all partners in nation building in specific, and then the world as a whole. If we realize that, then everybody is going to contribute his or her quota towards that achievement. Most often than not, I think the civilians see peacekeeping as the domain of soldiers, which is not. Peacekeeping has about 3 components. You get the military component, the police component, and the civilian component. We all work together to achieve the same goal. In a UN theater. So it's the same thing that must be applied down here. Working together, we would achieve good results.
So as a civilian, I mean, in the very basic term, I wake up, I come to work, I go home, I go to church. What should I do? You know, because I may be wondering, how can I help in maintaining?
You have to take interest in peacekeeping issues. You know, some have just closed their ears when they hear about peacekeeping, because where they are sitting now, they are really safe. It is because of our efforts. That is why you are enjoying the peace today. So get involved, all hands on deck, and then support the military, support the police and other security agencies to be able to keep the peace wherever they are. It could be in terms of sponsorship. We welcome that.
Does the military welcome private sponsorship?
We will.
So in terms of what? Maybe if I want to give the military the materials to sew your uniforms, is that welcome?
It will be welcomed, my dear. Yes.
Interesting. Okay, and so looking at the whole Ghanaian military landscape, you know, we talk about what we just witnessed yesterday and how sometimes the military-civilian relationship is. I've seen a couple of billboards around Burma camp. The soldier is your friend. I think that's one way of bridging the gap between the military and civilians. But looking at the whole Ghanaian military landscape, what can we do to make it better?
I think we are really working towards that. In the past years, of course, you know, we've had a bad name when it comes to relating to civilians. But it is not so any longer. We have opened our doors to the civilians, and this is seen in this open day programs that we do. You know, we've gone ahead to tell the civilians that we are just like them. They should come to us. Our doors are open. You know, we are not that, you know, that, in quotes, buga buga that they think we are. No, we are such friendly entity. So they should come to us, and we would also come to them. It's just unfortunate that that incident happened yesterday, when even he was telling them that I am an officer of the military, and yet it fell on deaf ears. See. It was so sad.
It's really sad and
sad
and quite overwhelming. But Lieutenant Colonel, you are Deputy PRO of the Ghana military, and I'm sure some of your other men in different parts of the country have heard this story. And I can imagine what may be going through their minds.
Yes,
just a word of encouragement.
Yes, I think they are all going through a lot. Most of them are in shock, as I just told you. In fact, all of us. We have issued a press release to that effect, and we have advised them to remain calm. There's a fact-finding team, a high-powered delegation led by the Chief of Army Staff, so they should all remain calm and let's wait for the report. I know most of them would have wanted to do something, but no, we want for the fallen colleague. Yeah, but this is not the time.
And what about those who may be facing a bit of trauma or some sort of psychological stress? I'm sure he has mates, he has colleagues, he has people who are under his command, who may be facing some kind of emotional distress.
Yes, I think what we are doing is the various commanders at the various levels are trying to talk to the soldiers. Yeah, because this officer belongs to a unit, and of course, you know what happened to that unit. So all hands are on deck, talking to the soldiers to remain calm. It's not easy.
And to the public, what will be your caution in terms of how we easily lynch people? This attitude
this
of
mob
lynching.
action, I think it's getting too much. We shouldn't take the law into our own hands. That is why the police is there. So if you don't really understand anything, just march the person to the police station. Because this wouldn't have happened when he said that I am a military officer. Okay, if you doubt that, just send him over to the police for the police to detect whether he is or not. Just unfortunate, my dear.
And how do you think this will affect security in the area in terms of your command and the soldiers working in that area?
Oh, this I don't think would affect command. Just as I told you, we are worthy to such cause and we will live up to our tasks. Yes, we will still be there and work as expected of us. Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel, before I let you go, this issue we just heard yesterday and a couple others have been trending within the media space, and one of them has to do with the military in Galamsey. I don't know, just a few words. What do we know about it? The minister said he was going to furnish the president with some documents on the matter, but as a PRO of the military, what do we know about it? Is it true? Does it happen? Do you have some of your men,
Beatrice, sorry. My minister has spoken. I can't speak any longer.
But are you aware
that
some of your men are doing that? Has it reached your outfit? Do you have any reports?
Yes, I think my boss spoke about this. That there have been cases of that and they are being dealt with. And then there were others who were in military uniform. They were in posters. Yes, that also has gotten to our table.
Sure.
So yes, we are looking at that. But my minister has spoken about it, and then we'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my
Colonel
dear.
Enesina Asad. My condolences to you and to the military and the family of Captain Mahama, who lost his life in a really tragic incident, which could have been avoided if the people of Dintra Obuasi had decided to take him to the police station when someone raised an alarm that he was a thief. Once again, I must say our condolences to his wife and his 2 young boys. You're watching Joy News Desk with me, Benis Abubedi.